Ohio. We're high on Ohio. These stories inform and inspire through the words of people who make Ohio home. Good news and good ideas, identifying and acknowledging the excellence that is all around us.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Brunner, and this is High on Ohio. This is brought to you by the Center for Community Solutions. Gene Krebs can't be with you here today. He is, exploring the agricultural industry of Northern California, and so I'm happy to be here in his stead. Now, I'm here today interviewing E.J. Dionne, who is a very well-known columnist for the Washington Post. He is a fellow at the Brookings Institution as well as a professor at Georgetown. And he has written a new book that he's here in Columbus today to talk to the Columbus Metropolitan Club about. This is called Our Divided Political Heart, The Battle for the American Idea in an Age of Discontent. Welcome, E.J.
Good to be here. Good to be with you.
Thank you. Glad to have you here. Well, can you tell us a little bit about this book? Because as I've read the introduction, I love the way that you're talking about how Americans really revere community, but at the same time, they want to protect their individualism. And you're talking about how this affects our political discourse.
Right. Well, in many ways, the book was inspired by the Tea Party. And obviously, I have some fundamental disagreements with the Tea Party, but I think they're right to encourage us to go back into our history and ask the question, who are we? And I think that people on the progressive side of politics often don't go back to our history enough. And I actually believe American history is really a progressive story. When you look at the advances made by African Americans, women, people, working people, movements towards social justice. We started as a country with slavery, and thanks in part to the people of Ohio, we moved to abolish it. And so I think that progressives need to embrace that history too. And my basic disagreement with the Tea Party is not that I disagree with them that liberty and individualism are an important part of the American character. Of course they are. All Americans, left and right, value liberty. And you're actually seeing that in our debates over the surveillance program, where there are a lot of alliances that cross political lines, the government surveillance program. But I don't think that's the end of the story. I think that there's a tendency to speak so much about our love of individualism and liberty that we forget that our story is also a story about the quest for community. We forget, for example, that the very first word of our Constitution is the word we. It's not I. It's not about individuals. It's we, the people of the United States. And then I argue when you go to what the founders were up to, when you go to some of the earliest arguments in our republic, for example, should the federal government establish a national bank, which Hamilton wanted to do and Madison didn't? What is the government's role in turning us into a great manufacturing nation? People like Hamilton and Henry Clay always saw the government was going to have to play an important role in making us a powerful economy. Or go further forward to Abraham Lincoln, who helped establish the great land-grant colleges, including Ohio State, and who helped establish an Institute of Science, who created the Homestead Program. This was using government both to empower individuals and to foster a sense of community. And what I'm arguing against is both either-or politics and an either-or sense of our history. I noticed this morning that the front page of the Columbus Dispatch was a very big story on the front page, very upbeat about downtown Columbus. Columbus is a classic place where it's not just the private sector or the public sector. This is a city that has Ohio State and the state government, but also a thriving private economy. And at the local government level, we often learn that the private and the public and the community all have to work together to make a place prosper. We seem to have forgotten that at the level of national politics. And obviously, I'm an unapologetic liberal or progressive. I think our conservative friends in particular need to pay attention to this, because conservatives didn't always reject government. People like Hamilton and Clay were seen as conservatives. And I think we could have somewhat less divisive politics if we accepted that not all the answers lie in government, but not all the answers lie in the market. We've always combined the two and used one to correct the other.